it's Kevin with Gone Rogue Games here on a happy Monday, on a holiday, here at the store. And I'm going to try to get this video without coughing up a lung because I'm still feeling pretty under the weather. This flu just will not end. So hopefully I can get back to healthy and you can see some more consistent YouTube videos again. So let's talk about this hot market again, because I have had so many people reach out to me about the Patreon service that I provide, and this video I'm going to try to clarify a lot of things because I don't think I've really fleshed it out exactly how this process works, and a lot of people are curious. So a lot of comments in my last video were about that, so I'll address it here. And let's talk about the market, what I'm seeing. This really reminds me of the last bull run during the COVID era. It was the same thing. I had a massive wave of new patrons. I had everyone wanting to buy products from me, and I want to just try to calm things down a bit because we've been through this before, and these markets can flip on their head. So before you think I'm some sort of miracle worker that can get you a lot of product, especially Pokemon, let's just curb some enthusiasm here and know that it is a tough market out there. Distributors are absolutely overwhelmed. I tried to place an order today through a distributor on a holiday, mind you, and by the time that I went to click on the cart, some of the items have already gone out of stock. So I was trying to buy some Bloomborough Commander decks. There was like 20 in stock at the moment, and by the time that I went click on the Commander decks into cart, they were already purchased. And there was a few other things in that cart too that had gone out. So everything is evaporating at distribution level, which gives a lot of headaches for, like, we can never have that perfect balance of where I can actually get things from distributors and people actually want to buy things at like a ravenous appetite that it is now. So that's kind of the catch-22 of it. So I want to tell everyone that they shouldn't be waiting. First of all, I don't want to cause a lot of FOMO panic and unrealistic expectations of like this market's going to hold for so long. I actually think this market's only going to hold through tax season, and then we're going to go back to a lull. However, if you want stuff within that time period of products from the 2022-2023 era that has still been kind of rotting at distribution level, I would not wait. Things like Commander Masters especially, those are the things that I'm seeing that are drying up, and that's actually not a bad set whatsoever. So Commander Masters is the set that I would definitely move on if you are looking to get it in on that product. Now, I've heard a couple other rumors too, so I'll address that here. A lot of people there's this rumor that Wizards of the Coast is now only doing one print run of things like Commander decks and things like Collector's Edition boosters. Let me just say here, the only thing that's consistent about Wizards of the Coast is their inconsistencies about their promises or what they're going to do. So as far as Commander decks are concerned, we just barely had a reprinting of Bloomborough and Ixalan, and now they're reprinting starter Commander decks. So whatever this rumor is, and I'd like to see this, if someone can actually link it to me where Wizards of the Coast has actually stated this, well, they have recently reprinted and recently announced reprints of now the starter collectors. There's also going to be one more wave, at least, of Lord of the Rings commanders. So I wouldn't put that rumor as set in stone whatsoever. I'd be very, very careful about listening to those rumors. I have noticed, just from my little anecdotes here, that my allocation numbers have been going down for things like collectors, boosters, and commander decks. And even things like bundles are drying up at the distribution level very, very quickly, like they used to like years ago. So I know that Wizards of the Coast, the only thing they have promised, so I think that's where the rumor's coming from, is they've promised to keep play boosters in stock during their standard livelihood. So, I mean, at least for that first like window of 1 to 2 years, they try to keep the play boosters, and it used to be draft boosters and set boosters, but now it's condensed into play boosters, thank God. Those are going to be in this like reprint, almost guarantee structure that Wizards of the Coast has. So, again, the only thing that's consistent about Wizards of the Coast is they're inconsistent about their policies. We've seen things, not recently, but the last collector reprint that I can remember was Ixalan and Lost Caverns of Ixalan, and that seemed to rebound. It was a small reprint wave, and the market actually ate it up quickly. But they have even gone back on those type of things. I would actually honestly like to see them limit things like commander decks. I don't know, I'm kind of split on this one because commander decks are something that sell very well. Players love them because it's very easy to pick a commander deck and just build off of it. And so even if they have those cards, they're willing to pay, even if there's not the value of cards in those pre-box sets, they're willing to pay like a premium just to have the convenience of a deck that's already basically built and they can add on to. However, the one thing that is worrisome about Commander especially, and Commander cards especially, is with Wizards of the Coast releasing so many Commander decks per year, they have absolutely destroyed the reprint equity that they were relying on to make these Commander decks actually have some sort of selling point. And we're even talking about all the way down to like the $1 cards. Remember when things like some of the lands, the check lands and things that they'd put in Commander decks were about $2 a piece, or even Soul Ring was about a $2, $3 card, or even Arcane Signet had some value. And why that's good, like necessary, I think, for sealed product is it always guarantees that if a product has low sales or low demand, that people could actually crack the product, and then so there'll still be buyers to crack the product and then release those cards on the secondary market. We saw that with Baldur's Gate, where Baldur's Gate had a positive EV. So there was that opportunity, what we call arbitrage, for people that could just open up the Commander decks and sell the singles. And that was a way to actually elevate the supply that was rotting at distribution level, because the secondary market was able to, for singles, be able to pull up that gap. However, with Wizards of the Coast continue to do that, these things add up. And when $2 cards go to 25-cent cards and 25-cent cards go to 10-cent card, that actually does affect the ability of them long-term to be printing these Commander decks without really power creeping them, and or even equity creeping them even more. So it would make sense to me that they would scale these things back, but at the same time, it's their best-selling product. So I would take all those rumors with a grain of salt. Pre-release kits have always been like, people are like, well, what about like pre-release kits? They've never had reprints. This has always been like a one print thing. The whole reason we've been able to get pre-releases in the past few years after the pre-release, and I had a comment like, why are you hoarding pre-releases? You can order these. You can order pre-releases after the pre-release. This is usually we do go through our pre-release kits for our events, and then I just order more. And my patrons love to order more. So that's how, these were acquired here specifically. But in the past, pre-release kits used to be a kind of rare commodity that stores would actually be begging for them, because the events would actually, Wizards of the Coast was pretty greedy with them, and they'd only give you specifically enough to run your events and not a lot of growth or the ability to actually order them past that. But I think there's just been so many fake stores out there that have been building up allocations to get things like collectors, and then don't end up taking their pre-releases or whatnot, and it allows a lot of supply at distribution level. Or I'm not sure exactly what the big transition from like the 2020 era into now is, where pre-release kits have been available at a lot higher quantities post-release than I remember 5-10 years ago. So anyway, with that thing out of the way, I think we'll address some other things. Like I said, I've had a lot of people reach out to me about my Patreon. Of course, it's very attractive now when you can actually order things at distribution price, and actually, basically I was looking at TCG Player, I would say 80%, 90% of everything that is in stock right now at distribution level has a positive sell rate or profitability. So if you were to actually buy at distribution level and sell on TCG Player and eBay, even after fees and shipping, you would still pull ahead. And that is night and day from 2022, 2023 era. Like I said, I can't for the life of me make the numbers work of how people do this online. That's why I don't do it. So let me explain why I do the Patreon a little bit here, why it works for me. I know there's a lot of other YouTubers that poo-poo on these like subscription services and like, why, if it was so good, why wouldn't they sell it themselves? Well, you have to be like the right mentality, the right type of person for selling on TCG Player and eBay. I particularly don't like it. I don't like dealing with random people. I don't like dealing with the scams. I don't like dealing with TCG Player themselves. And I don't like working my butt off to make places like eBay and TCG Player rich, because they take the lion's share of it. So there are a couple reasons why I started the Patreon. The first thing is, it was just kind of a fluke. I actually started Patreon just as a way to support my YouTube channels. I remember getting fired from Cool Stuff Inc. because I was a naughty boy on the internet and said some naughty things, and so they dropped my sponsorship. And I was also kind of on my way out anyway for building the rogue decks. I was starting to get burned out, going through creator burnout with that. And I remember I had just a fan reach out to me and tell me to start a Patreon. He'd actually sign up, and actually at a very, very high tier. And at first we just did cute things like pack openings and sending signed cards to people, because I used to actually have legitimate fans. So a lot of you might not know me from my glory years of the Rogue Deck Builder, but I accumulated about, I think it was almost 35,000 subscribers at the height of Rogue Deck Builder, and that was at a time and a place when 35,000 was pretty decent for a YouTuber, especially Magic the Gathering YouTuber. And like I said, I regret letting it lapse, but I like this more business end of it. I like the flexibility of it. I like just talking shop more than really being focused on the latest brew. And as I mentioned, I kind of grew out of competitive Magic and playing in that aspect. It was really after Arena, like everything was pushed to Arena, and I just hated that platform. It just made it so much more difficult to do videos didn't want to be split on like MTGO and Arena. That was the main cause for it. But there's a lot of other complications too. I remember being so frustrated. I'd make a really good video, and the algorithm would just kick it in the teeth, and I wouldn't get any views on it. And then I'd make some sort of drama video, and I'd get so many views, and I just got like so burnt out. So anyway, it was kind of a fluke where I started Patreon, but then I realized there were a couple of issues too. Like, first of all, we were going through a kind of a capital crunch here at the store. We used to actually sell directly to YouTubers. So I had a website actually that's now defunct, and I'd post all the things. I remember selling things like Eternal Masters, and we sold even things like Modern Masters to fans at near TCG player price. And I think it was a little bit more, because back then I could actually charge a premium for being, you know, a no name. But I realized it was very, very hard to really get over that hump of having the capital to be able to buy stuff from distributors. And so I came up with this plan of like, okay, well, I can start a subscription service and there's no risk. There's a lot of risk to it too. That was the whole thing. If I bought like a product, say I spent $10,000 and then it didn't sell immediately, or had to then take a loss on it, like all those things when you're starting a business, that is killer. You need to have that cash flow. You need to be able to recoup your capital to be able to invest in the new things and be able to sell the new things. So I devised this plan of like, okay, well, we went through kind of a lull of the market where it was impossible. It was like the worst of both worlds. I was too small for distributors to care about me, so I wanted to build my numbers up. So I thought, okay, well, if I sell things at cost, then I can build my numbers up with distributions, and distributors, and they'll actually like remember my name and call me back. And B, we came to a point on like the eBays and TCG players where it wasn't profitable, and it was like so hard to recoup that I'm like, okay, well, how about I save my fans money? I save myself risk, and I can have that reliable income of a subscription service. So I came up with this Patreon of where you sign up at different tiers, you can get a certain amount of products per month from me. And so it's just a win-win. I have no risk, which if you've ever been in business, risk is everything. Like, I lost tens of thousands of dollars on Baldur's Gate because that was the set that I decided to make a move on because there was so much anticipation for it. And man, oh man, did that set crush me. And that and Commander Masters, there are a couple of them. So without risk, if things are, you know, money up front and pre-order, or everything's like kind of pre-ordered, the process without how it works with me is you put an order with me, then I order from the distributors, and then when I get it, I ship it to you. So there's that a little bit of a delay. So I realize, and I'm going to be upfront with everyone, it's not as convenient of saying, you know, click on Amazon or TCG Player and that's in stock and have it shipped to you. Where it gets you though is where the service I think is good for a lot of people is it allows you some really good deals from time to time for sure, and a lot of customization on what products you can get. And it ends up being a pretty good you scratch my back, I scratch your back operation. So yeah, so I came up with it, and you can definitely go and check my Patreon if you're interested in that. Like I said, I had so many messages in my last video that I thought I'd just address it here. So I've reworked the tiers to make a little more clarity, because I think I was unclear exactly, you know, what tier got what. So I'm going to show everyone here what my little operation is. So if you sign up for the $10 tier, it's a small box. So a small box for the $10 tier, I have said that's kind of the lowest tier, it's the lowest entry to be able to order product. It's just going to be a small box of something like 2 or 3 booster boxes. And so I actually had an example here, and now I don't have one that's on hand. So it's basically just this. So you can get, you know, a small box to the latest kind of sets here. So like, you know, 2 draft boosters and a pre-release kit. That's like what a $10 you can expect. I call them plunder boxes. So you can get 1 small plunder box per month for the lowest $10 tier. If you sign up for the $15 tier, I allow you to add sleeves and accessories and a little more wiggle room, like a little bit larger of a box. We call it kind of a medium-sized box. So here's a good example of something you get if you're at the $15 tier. I've got 2 Azerite C booster boxes in here, a Illuminator's Trove, a Bastion, some Perfect Fits, and some Dragon Shields and some card dividers. That's another perk about joining the Patreon too, is we have a really, really good group of people. We have hundreds of people now on the Discord, and they bounce off each other of like products that are good to buy. And, you know, people ask me all the time. There's one of the perks of the service too, is you can always ask me about products and I can look them up. So whether it be a board game, whether it be like a miniature game, whether it be hobby supplies like paints or paint brushes, you know, we've done it all. I've sent you name it, I've sent it. I've got a lot of things that I had no clue even existed that I've looked up for patrons, and we're able to order it for them. So that is the kind of the difference between the $10 tier and the $15 tier. These ones I just kind of keep it that. That's the kind of the low entry. You are eligible to pre-order the latest set, but just the booster boxes, like the play boosters. Nothing that is allocated, nothing that is like something that I have to say I get like 100 from distributors and have to allocate it beyond patrons. Those tiers are not eligible for those type of items. So if you want to get in on those type of items, I do require a little bit higher tiers. So once you get into something like the $20 tier, that's where it starts to get juicy. So I got an example of a box here. This is a box that's going to be shipped out for a $20 tier patron. So we got like a starter collection in here. So what I say is it needs to fit in like a medium-sized box. So about, you know, 6 or 7 products in a medium-sized box. So there's a Merger Call Commander case here. There is a pre-release kit from Foundations. There's a couple Jumpstart boosters from Foundations, some beginner boxes, some starter kits, and there's like room for sleeves and things like that in there. So keep in mind what the Patreon service is really doing is paying for my time. I don't make a cut on any of these products that are from distributors. So you're basically just paying for my time to assemble it all, get it shipped to you. And like I said, it's a win-win for everyone. My numbers get boosted at distribution level. You know, I get that monthly income that I can guarantee on, and you get some awesome products that come to you in a nice little box that might contain a little bit of dog hair in it. See buttons down there. Really need to clean this place. So here's another example of like a you know, kind of medium-sized box here. Got some play mats. We got like some Pokemon booster boxes in here, like a Scarlet Violet 151 bundle in here, Attack on Titan playmat, some Dragon Shield sleeves, and Dex binder. So anything that fits in like a medium-sized box, that's where the $20 tier starts at. And then for every $5 above the tier, that's where the boxes kind of get bigger. I say like it's a double. At 25, you get double the amount of 20. So it kind of incentivizes going up for every $5 above that. So here's one that's going out, a bunch of collector boosters. Looks like a case of New Capenna down in here that fits in like this larger type box. And then if you're really crazy, and a lot of people are, you can sign up for some of the higher tiers. Like once you get up to the $50 tier, it's basically no questions asked. Like whatever you want to order, I feel like if you put that much money into the service, you know, you have free reign to order what you want within reason. I'm not going to, you know, kill myself for, you know, at that level. But here's an example of something going out. We got some Dex binders. We got some standard card sleeves from GameGenic. These are actually pretty cool. If you really want some cheap sleeves, they're actually pretty good. We got a land station. So see, this is what I really like too. Like I said in my other video, if you hate your local game store, or you don't have a local game store, or if you just want to start your own little group, this is where the distribution, or this is where the Patreon can really work out for you, because I can basically supply you with everything you need for a play group, even things like these land stations. So if you want like a little Magic Gathering land station for drafts, this is something I can actually order from Ultra Pro. So the distributors carry this, and you can get even things like these penny sleeves. Like if you want like cases of penny sleeves, or not monsters, that's not for sale, but Dex binders, Dragon Shield sleeves. All of this stuff, you know, we have one-piece starters here, man. I'm kind of a mess over here. And, you know, all these orders right here are stuff that needs to be shipped out. This is kind of an operation that's going on right here. Yeah. So play groups, this is what's perfect for, because I can, you know, supply your board game groups. I can supply your miniature groups, all that sort of stuff. So we got this Ultimate Guard archive. This looks like one of the Guild Summit archives from Ultimate Guard. Got some Pokemon tins here, or what do they call these? They call these the summer chest, I think, or the spring collector chest, or something like that. Got a board game, Arcs. This is one of the new games out there that is taken off. So even those things are eligible. Got some One Piece. So like I said, if you got this little play group, and here's the thing too, I'm not gonna like question you. So if you want to sign up with your buddies, like at a certain tier, I know I have one guy that just I'm pretty sure he started his own shop based upon my service here, because he always orders a lot. You know, sign up for the high tier patron, he'd always like, I need this, and it's like kind of a convoluted list of like just a bunch of random stuff from a bunch of random games. But like I said, I like doing it. I actually like researching this stuff, and it actually gives me a lot of ideas. it's kind of funny, like how we supply the store here locally is a lot of misorders or like cancellations or misorders, or you got to remember there's a lot of headache dealing with distributors. You get a lot of packages that have the wrong stuff in it, and instead of me like doing returns and you know, I try to make it life as easy as possible for the distributors too, because I want to be viewed as a customer they want to work with. So if things come in and like maybe wrong or if an order got messed up, then I just actually sell it here at the store. So a lot of my, or a lot of things too is just like I had no idea a product actually existed, and a patron actually wanted, like, wow, this is actually pretty good. I'll actually supply it here for the store. So anyway, that's kind of what we got going on here. So I hope this kind of clarifies of what the service is. Like I said, no pressure. I enjoy everyone that just subscribes to the YouTube channel and does all the usual of commenting and stuff. I mean, I've noticed that I kind of had the little creator crisis, identity crisis of when I left Rogue Deck Builder. I put so much into it that I still enjoyed doing YouTube videos, but I couldn't find the desire to do the Rogue Deck Builder. I couldn't have the desire to constantly build Magic the Gathering decks. And then I just realized with this channel that I just like talking. I like being behind the camera. I like interacting with people online. So this works out perfect for me. It's kind of my dream job of doing this sort of subscription service. This is one of the reasons why I did take a big break from the YouTubes. I don't do as much on the Rogue Market, which I actually want to get back to doing because I think that actually has a lot of relevance with this sort of operation. But I really like, you know, interacting. I really like talking to customers. I really like, you know, figuring out packages for people. I don't know. It's kind of fun. So if it's something you're interested in, like I said, no pressure. I appreciate everyone being around anyway. And we will keep the rants coming. Yeah, that's all I have for today. I do need to talk about some other crazy things with the Pokemon coming out with the Journey, the newest set coming out. Man, oh man, I need to respond back to another person's YouTube video of throwing out my beautiful word of utility between Magic the Gathering and Pokemon. I still think I want to beat that home of kind of the advantages and disadvantages. And if people think that Pokemon is immune just because it's ultra collectible, man, if I'm a betting man, and I am, I still love utility over collectability. And I wish there was a game that really knocked down I guess Magic still would be the game that does knock that home the best. And that's why I'm more bullish on Magic long term than I am Pokemon. I think we're going to continue to go through. I know that people say on average, you know, rate over year-to-year rate of Pokemon has outproduced everything. It is until it isn't, and that's my big worrisome about that particular game. And it really does look like they're going through exactly what I was afraid of, which is what I'm calling kind of the collectible creep, where they're going to have to continue to make better and better sets. Like they're going to have to figure out a way to outdo Prismatic Evolutions now. And I think it's just going to be one Pokemon Go away from the Pokemon market becoming cringe again and crashing, and then no one wants to actually buy it. And then my whole fear is I'm going to be back to like being stuck with a bunch of Pokemon product from distribution because I couldn't get product, so I started ordering as much product as possible so I could actually get product, and then this is what happens. I get built up with all this junk that has sat on my shelves for years now of just trying to up my numbers with distribution so I can actually get stuff for patrons. But I'm actually glad though, because all this stuff is like liquid gold now, and so again, I'll be posting this all on a Google Sheets for my patrons, and you all will be able to save. What I typically do for the stuff that I have to purchase is I don't give you what I paid for it 3 years ago. What I do is just I try to match the market price on TCG Player, and then just kind of split the fees with you, and that way, you know, we both save some money by me not being killed by fees, and you don't have to pay the fees. Anyway, that's all I have today. Again, I appreciate everyone for sticking around. If you'd like me to talk about any specific topic, let me know. Or if you want to see want me to show anything around the store or give any other stories, I'm full of them. Kevin with Rogue Deck Builder? No, not Rogue Deck Builder. Got some nostalgia there. Kevin from Gone Rogue Games. Thanks for watching.